as you all know that there were elections in Haryana. So in one of the little politically inclined discussions I was having with a group of people, there was a gentleman who was talking about uh, some historical facts. As much as that, he even said that Islam came to India during the reign of Ashoka, which was an absurdly wrong historical fact. So I asked him that what is the source of his knowledge, and the person very gracefully said it was WhatsApp. Well, there was no point in arguing with him on history because there was hardly any knowledge which he had on the history. So I told him that please have your sources of information or knowledge correct. The sources of knowledge should be reliable. Because for me, the authenticity of the source of knowledge is the most important thing. The credibility of that source is the most important thing, that what knowledge you are getting. So with that as a principle, I have made this channel of mine in which I try to impart the knowledge or share the knowledge which I take from the most authentic and reliable sources, so that the stream of knowledge is pure. Now with this, we'll start today's video, which is the final video on section 162. We were having the series of videos from section 160 of CRPC to 162. So with this video, we'll culminate that series. Thereafter, if need arises, we may go in for additional videos on the subtopics within the section 162 of CRPC and equivalent citations of BNSS. Over to the video. Now we have seen that the statements under section 161 of CRPC given to the police are considered to be the weakest evidence, as they are not admissible at all. Now section 162 of CRPC or 181 of BNSS tells how statements given under section 161 of CRPC or 180 of BNSS can be used in the court. Now the proviso of section 162(1) specifically says, I'm talking about 162 of CRPC, and subsection 1. The provision of section 162 subsection 1 specifically says, if a person is examined by a police officer during investigation, any part of his statement, if duly proved, may be used by the accused and with the permission of the court by the prosecution to contradict such witness in a manner provided by section 145 of the Indian Evidence Act, which now is 148 of the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam. Now the person who gave the statement under 161 comes in front of the magistrate and gives the same statement. So when he gives the same statement, he has proved his statement. Now these statements can be used in the court. How it can be used? It can be used in the manner as provided under section 145 of the Indian Evidence Act. Now logically, if you see, there are two parties in a litigation. There is a prosecution and there is a defense. Both have got two options each. Either they can corroborate or they can contradict the witness. Now, prosecution has brought the witness. Prosecution has got the statement of the witness recorded under section 161, which was under the influence of the police, right? So prosecution cannot be allowed to corroborate with that statement because it's a factor of coercion and influence. But would the prosecution want to contradict his own witness? The answer is no. But hang on. What the provision said, that the prosecution can use the statement of the witness with the permission of the court. So there has to be a scenario when prosecution would like to use this statement. And that scenario is when the witness becomes hostile, or as I say, he becomes unfavorable to the prosecution. Now, the concept of hostile witness we will take in some other video. Okay. So, one thing is certain, that prosecution cannot be allowed to corroborate with these statements, and only under exceptional circumstances, when the prosecuting witness has been declared hostile, he can contradict. Now, when we come to defense, will the defense want to corroborate the statement of the prosecution? Will the defense want to corroborate the statement of the prosecution witness? Of course not. After all, defense would not want to send the accused to jail straight away, right? But defense will definitely want to contradict. So, both prosecution under exceptional circumstances of hostility or defense under the normal circumstances would only want to contradict. So, question arises, what is contradiction? And if in case you have understood the meaning of the word contradiction here, the critical part of the criminal trial you have understood. अब कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन का मतलब क्या होता है? देखिए, कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन का मतलब होता है जब एक विटनेस पुलिस को इन्वेस्टिगेशन के दौरान एक स्टेटमेंट दे और कोर्ट में आकर बिल्कुल उल्टा स्टेटमेंट दे। ये दो स्टेटमेंट एक दूसरे से बिल्कुल मैच नहीं करते और दोनों साथ नहीं चल सकते। लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल। मान लीजिए विटनेस ने पुलिस को बोला, मैंने एक्यूज्ड को क्राइम सीन पर देखा, पर जब वो ट्रायल के दौरान कोर्ट में आया तो बोला, मैंने एक्यूज्ड को क्राइम सीन पे नहीं देखा। Now both the statements are inconsistent, right? Can they coexist together? दोनों सही हो ही नहीं सकते, इसलिए ये contradiction है. Now, one of the judgments in which contradiction has been most beautifully explained is the judgment of Honorable Supreme Court, which is Tehsildar Singh versus State of UP, AR 1959. And I have said this earlier also, and I reiterate that all the advocates, especially the younger ones who are starting up their career, if they want to practice on the criminal side, there are few judgments they must learn by heart. Tehsildar Singh is one of those judgments. Now, the Honorable Court stated that if the previous statement of the witness before the officer during investigation and the statement of the witness before the court during the trial are so irreconcilable और सो इनकंसिस्टेंट, दैट इज किन स्टेटमेंट्स की बात हो रही है? एक स्टेटमेंट जो उसने पुलिस ऑफिसर को दी और फिर उसने सेम सब्जेक्ट मैटर पे स्टेटमेंट दी कोर्ट के अंदर, और ये दोनों स्टेटमेंट्स बिल्कुल ही इनकंसिस्टेंट हैं, दैट दे कैनॉट कोएग्जिस्ट, दैट इज कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन. बोथ कैनॉट कोएग्जिस्ट टुगेदर, राइट? नाउ हिज अर्लियर स्टेटमेंट बिफोर द पुलिस ऑफिसर ड्यूरिंग इन्वेस्टिगेशन एंड हिज सब्सिक्वेंट स्टेटमेंट बिफोर द कोर्ट are very diametrically opposing or irreconcilable or inconsistent, whatever you may say, that they both cannot coexist together, then it is a contradiction. This is the beautiful explanation, a very simple explanation of contradiction which has been given in Tehsildar Singh. Now let's read once the provision of 181 subsection 1 of BNSS or 162 section 162 subsection 1 of CRPC. Now, to understand this, we'll break it down, and the real essence of section 162 lies in this provision itself. It says that when any witness is called for prosecution in such inquiry or trial, now who is this witness? It's not a defense witness, he is a prosecution witness, right? It further reads, whose statement has been reduced into writing as aforesaid. Now, in section 161, we all know we reduce the statement into writing and then we make a separate record of it. It is about the same statement, that is section 161 statement. And part of his statement, if duly proved, may be used by the accused. Now, if duly proved means the witness comes later and prove it that yes, I only gave this statement, police did not write it by themselves. Okay, then how you can use it? May be used by the accused, which we have already discussed. The logical thing is the accused would want to contradict, and with the permission of the court by the prosecution. That is, the prosecution can use with the permission of the court and when it can use, it can only use in exceptional circumstances. And what are those exceptional circumstances? Witness becomes hostile or unfavorable to prosecution. Then the defense and the prosecution can contradict him. Now it further states, when any part of such statement is so used, any part thereof may also be used in the re-examination of such witness, but for the purpose of only explaining any matter referred to in his cross-examination. So it can be used for re-examination. Now the point here is, what is re-examination? We have just done the examination. He has proved the statement in his cross. Then there was a cross-examination. In his cross-examination, the other side came and tried to break it. The other side tried to elicit contradictions. Then the prosecution will say, whatever contradictions you have raised, we'll clarify in the re-examination. So this is why it is written that when any part is so used means for eliciting contradictions. When it is used for contradiction, defense side tries to break it. The defense tries to create doubts in the statement, and in any part the defense tries to create doubts in it. Any part of it may be used. The defense side tries to break it. It tries to create doubts. Then the part of the statement in which the doubts are created, they can be used in the re-examination of such witness. So the witness will have the right that whatever mistake was made in the statement, whatever contradiction was made, he should have the right to clarify it in the re-examination. So it can be used in re-examination, but for the purpose only for explaining the matter referred to in the cross-examination. मतलब क्या हुआ? विटनेस ने एक 161 की स्टेटमेंट दी, फिर उसके बाद उसने कोर्ट में आके बयान दिया. कोर्ट में बयान देने के बाद क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन हुआ. क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन में होने के बाद आने के बाद कुछ कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस निकल के आए. अभी विटनेस कहता है साहब ये कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन निकल के आए, ये कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस नहीं है, ये मैं एक्सप्लेन कर सकता हूँ. या प्रोसिक्यूशन कहती है कि मेरा विटनेस एक्सप्लेन कर सकता है. तो वो जो कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस निकल के आई थी, जो 161 की स्टेटमेंट थी या कोर्ट की जो स्टेटमेंट थी जिसमें कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन निकल के आई थी, उनको उनके लिए ही सिर्फ फॉर दैट पर्पज ओनली the witness can be re-examined. So this explains the proviso of subsection 1 of section 162 of CRPC. But it raises few important questions, and I'll take those questions because that is a very, very important part of the section 162. Now, one of the important facets of contradictions is the omissions amounting to contradictions. Now this concept was also very beautifully explained by the Honorable Supreme Court in Tehsildar Singh. In this, the Honorable Supreme Court highlighted the circumstances under which an omission can be treated as contradiction and when they cannot be treated as contradiction. According to this judgment, when the statement made in the court explicitly contradicts the earlier omitted fact, it amounts to contradiction. नहीं समझ में आया? कोई बात नहीं. We'll break it down and then we'll understand. And we'll also take few examples. Now, let us understand the omission amounting to contradiction in greater detail by breaking it down. ठीक है? Now, what is an omission? Now, omission occurs when a witness leaves out or fails to mention a certain fact or detail in the statement, either during the police investigation यानी 161 के बयान, or when he proved the statement before the court. This could be intentional or unintentional, यानी कुछ कहना था, कुछ फैक्ट देने थे पर वो नहीं दिए या देना भूल गया, तो ये है ओमिशन. ओमिशन का मतलब है किसी चीज को हटा देना. Now what is contradiction? A contradiction happens when a witness makes two irreconcilable statements, meaning the statements are so different that they cannot both be true. For example, if a witness says one thing to the police but says the opposite thing in the court, both are in contradiction. Now, Tehsildar Singh explains when does a omission amounts to contradiction. For an omission to amount to contradiction, it must relate to a material fact. यानी कि it must relate to a fact, इतना material fact होना चाहिए कि जो जिसके omission से testimony के nature पे ही फर्क पड़ जाए, तो in that case omission will amount to a contradiction. Let us take an example. बहुत सिंपल से एग्जाम्पल लेंगे. अभी 161 के बयान में विटनेस ने बोला, I saw the accused at around 5 p.m. in the market. Simple. अभी कोर्ट में आके उसने बोला, I saw the accused in the market at around 5 p.m. और उस वक्त the weather was very sunny. जैसे 5 भी होती तो नहीं है, पर मान लेते हैं weather was very sunny. Now, does the weather, whether it was sunny or not, makes any impact on the statement? The answer is no. It will have, the type of weather will have absolutely no relevance or no impact on the testimony. मतलब सनी नहीं भी होती तो भी उसकी स्टेटमेंट वैसे ही मानी जाती है. So here, though this was an omission because there was an improvement in the court, but it was not of a material fact. In this case, omission will not amount to contradiction. Now let's take another example. Witness tell the police that I saw the accused in the market again at around 5 p.m. And the court, he says, I saw the accused in the market and he was carrying a stick or a knife or a gun. Now here there is an improvement, and the improvement is changing the nature of the testimony. पहले क्या बोला पुलिस में कि साहब मैंने एक्यूज्ड को मार्केट में देखा, हथियार का जिक्र नहीं किया. बट कोर्ट में आते क्या बोला, कोई डंडा था या कोई छुरी थी या गन थी, यानी सम सॉर्ट ऑफ वेपन वाज देयर. तो आप देख रहे हैं, दिस ओमिशन इन द प्रीवियस स्टेटमेंट is a material omission. In this case, omission will amount to contradiction in most of the cases. Now, what is the key underlying principle? The key underlying principle is same, that an omission becomes a contradiction when the fact omitted in the earlier statement, understand, it is the omission in the previous statement. When the fact omitted in the earlier statement is brought up later and it is so important and relevant that it changes the nature of the testimony. Now, you understood this, and this is very important part, the omissions amounting to contradictions. Achha. Now what I am going to discuss is especially for those advocates who are just starting their career on the criminal side. What is the procedure for marking a contradiction? This is a little practical aspect. So, when a witness court testimony contradicts his earlier statement, what the defense lawyer must do? He must draw the attention to the earlier statement made by the witness to the police, यानी उसके जो 161 के बयान हैं. फिर जो कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी पोर्शन है वो रीड आउट करना चाहिए, एंड देन आस्क द विटनेस फॉर द एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ द कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन. मिसाल के तौर पे ले लें, एक विटनेस ने पुलिस को बोला, आई सॉ द एक्यूज्ड विद अ नाइफ, बट कोर्ट में आके उसने बोला आई डिडंट सी एनी वेपन. तो अब डिफेंस लॉयर क्या करेंगे, he will highlight this contradiction by reading the statement aloud and asking, did you not say this to the police, or that he was carrying the knife, or why did you say this to the police that I saw the accused with a knife? Then the contradiction is then marked provisionally as exhibit, such as D1 or D2, depending upon how many contradictions exist. And understand, this contradiction is currently now marked. It will only become an exhibit when the IO will come and testify and confirm that yes, witness made this statement, contradictory statement during the investigation. So when IO comes at the later stage and confirms that yes, this witness has told me what is there in the 161 statement, then this contradiction becomes an exhibit. Now, there are multiple aspects of contradictions. That's the reason I said that, if in case you understand 162, you understand contradictions, most critical part of the criminal trial you have understood. देखिए क्या होता है, कई ट्रायल कोर्ट्स में लॉयर्स कई बार क्या करते हैं, वो दो टेस्टमनी होते हैं उनके हाथ में, एक विटनेस ए की, एक विटनेस बी की. विटनेस ए ने कुछ कहा, विटनेस बी ने कुछ कहा, तो क्या करेंगे, वो विटनेस ए को विटनेस बी की स्टेटमेंट से कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट करने की कोशिश करेंगे. मजे की बात यह है, आई हैव माई सेल्फ सीन समटाइम्स when the court anyway is not listening, और अपने जो प्रोसिक्यूटर साहब हैं वो बिल्कुल अनइंटरेस्टेड हैं, तो ऐसी गलतियां जो होती हैं वो निकल जाती हैं. यू हैव टू बी वेरी कॉशियस, स्पेशली व्हेन यू आर देयर एज अ प्राइवेट प्रोसिक्यूटर हायर्ड बाय द प्रोसिक्यूशन. द क्वेश्चन स्टिल रिमेन्स, क्या ये परमिसिबल है? कॉन्ट्राडिक्टिंग अ विटनेस with the testimony of another witness, is it permissible? The answer is no. इसके लिए एक जजमेंट है ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट की, विच इज चौधरी रामजी भाई नरसिम्हा भाई वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ गुजरात 2004. The Honorable Supreme Court clarified on this. It said, the Honorable Supreme Court said that एक प्रोसिक्यूशन को सिर्फ उसके खुद के दिए पहले गए स्टेटमेंट से ही कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट कर सकते हैं, किसी दूसरे विटनेस की स्टेटमेंट के साथ नहीं. एंड यू हैव टू बी एक्स्ट्रा कॉशियस while the cross examination is going on, because there would be a smart trial lawyer who will definitely attempt by bringing one statement of some other witness against the testimony of your witness. So वही जो मैंने कहा कि so there, but I'm telling you, there would definitely be a smart trial lawyer who will ask the witness something which is not there in his 161 statement. अच्छा, इसका भी ना एक लॉजिक है, एंड लॉजिक विल, इसका जो अंडरलाइंग लॉजिक कह लीजिए की प्रिंसिपल है, विल एक्चुअली लीड टू वन मोर सिनेरियो. अभी when I say there was a statement of witness B, वो दिखाई स्टेटमेंट विटनेस ए को कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन करने के लिए, और मैंने कहा ये नरसिम्हा भाई वाली जजमेंट है, उसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा ऐसा नहीं कर सकते. पॉइंट ये आता है क्यों नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज कॉन्ट्राडिक्शन इज ऑलवेज अगेंस्ट द स्टेटमेंट विच ही हैज मेड एंड नॉट अगेंस्ट what he has not said. फिर कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन नहीं हुई ना. लुक, क्या होता है, मैं एक और प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट बताता हूँ. कई बार ना स्मार्ट ट्रायल लॉयर्स आते हैं, मतलब स्मार्ट नहीं होते, दे ट्राई टू बी स्मार्ट, उनको स्मार्ट आदमी कभी गलत काम नहीं करता. दे विल आस्क द विटनेस समथिंग विच इज नॉट देयर इन हिज स्टेटमेंट. क्या बोलेंगे? डिड यू नॉट टेल द पुलिस ऑफिसर दैट सच एंड सच थिंग हैपेंड? Then being a leading question, the witness will incline to say in affirmative. The answer, if he gives the answer in affirmative, then the cross-examining counsel will say, but you did not tell this to the police. It is not there in your 161 statement. Arey, you have to contradict against what he has said. Not against nothing at all. Not against something which doesn't exist. सेम प्रिंसिपल जो है वो पहले वाले सिनेरियो में आया, जब आपने एक विटनेस को दूसरे विटनेस की स्टेटमेंट से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करने की कोशिश की. बोथ द थिंग्स आर नॉट परमिसिबल. एंड इफ इन केस यू आर अ यंग एडवोकेट, यू आर अ स्टार्टर, यू आर इनएक्सपीरियंस्ड and have just started to practice on criminal side, please beware because there would definitely be advocates who would try to, pull this trick. And if in case you are the one who has been hired by the as a private prosecutor, by the prosecution, by the victim, by the complainant, then understand the actual scenario क्या होगा कि मजिस्ट्रेट साहब अपने काम में लगे होंगे, आपकी क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन चल रहा होगा, पीपी साहब इंटरेस्टेड नहीं होंगे, आपके भरोसे रहेगा क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन, एंड you will miss the bus. So have to be little extra cautious in such scenarios. Now, why when I say Tehsildar Singh is a very important judgment? Because even this concept is very beautifully explained in Tehsildar Singh. So, in what did Supreme Court say in Tehsildar Singh? For this, that contradiction means the setting up of one statement against the another, and not setting up a statement against nothing at all. Very beautifully, in one line, the Honorable Supreme Court has actually given the underlying principle of both the two scenarios we discussed. अच्छा, अब एक सिनेरियो और लेते हैं. ये क्या है? एक प्रोसिक्यूशन विटनेस आया, उसने साहब, he was the complainant or first informant, so he gave a statement to the police under section 154. I'm talking about CRPC. We are still more conversant with CRPC, right? Okay. Then he repeated the same statement under 161. Then he comes to the court and repeats the same in his chief. तो क्या हुआ? उसने एक ही स्टेटमेंट दी जो उसने एफआईआर के वक्त दी, 161 की बयान में दी, और अपने चीफ में भी वो स्टेटमेंट दी. बट ड्यूरिंग हिज क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन ही एडमिट्स, सपोज कर लीजिए उसकी स्टेटमेंट ये थी कि साहब ये जो एक्यूज्ड ए है, किसी ने चाकू से वार किया है, और ही इज कंसिस्टेंट एट द 3 levels. बट एट द लेवल ऑफ, एट द स्टेज ऑफ क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन ही सेज, साहब मैंने तो कल्प्रिट का चेहरा देखा नहीं क्योंकि अंधेरा था, या विजिबिलिटी क्लियर नहीं थी, या उसका चेहरा छुपा हुआ था, मैं दरवाजे के पीछे था, मैं दीवार के पीछे था. Some reason that he could not identify the culprit. Now the question is, will the 3 corroborating statements given earlier, they will hold good, or the statement given or the contradiction elicited in the cross examination would hold good? देखिए, एक तरफ 3 स्टेटमेंट्स हैं सेम विटनेस की, और एक तरफ क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन में आई है. कैन द एक्यूज्ड बी हेल्ड गिल्टी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सच स्टेटमेंट्स? Understand, one contradiction that was elicited during the cross examination is good enough to wipe out the entire testimony related to that fact of that witness. The whole chief examination and his other previous statements will be completely wiped out through only one statement which comes in cross examination, or one contradiction which comes in cross examination, and that is the reason the cross examination is so important. Okay, ऐसे नहीं कहते कि there are ways and means to do cross examination, you have to be extra cautious to cross examination, you have to prepare well for the cross examination, because these are the things that makes cross examination so crucial. So the court cannot convict the accused in such a case on the basis of statements, 3 previous statements of the witness. Now let's take it, let's have a look at the subsection 2 of section 162 or 181 of BNSS, which says that nothing in this section shall be deemed to apply to any statement falling within the provisions of clause 1 of, I'm reading section 181 of BNSS, okay, sorry, okay. Nothing in this section shall be deemed to apply to any statement falling within the provisions of clause 1 of section 26 of the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, which actually I guess is section 32 of the Indian Evidence Act. Now what is section 26 of BSA or section 32 of Indian Evidence Act? It talks about dying declaration. Now we all know that dying declaration is a substantive evidence. Okay, but the question arises, why? Now what happens in dying declaration is that person dies after giving a statement. Now अब हमारे पास क्या है? अब हमारे पास केवल एक स्टेटमेंट है. Now he cannot come to the court and prove his statement. क्यों? बेचारा मर चुका है. He cannot come to the court. Hence वो जो हमारा प्रिंसिपल था प्रोविजो के अंदर 162 के सबसेक्शन 1 के प्रोविजन के अंदर कि if duly proof cannot apply. Okay. So hence out of necessity the statement of a dead person means a dying declaration, and this clause cannot be applied on it. Now when this clause is not applied, then we can use it as we want to use it. Now whether it is contradiction or corroboration. Understand, the person is not alive. He cannot be made available in the subsequent stages. He can neither come there to prove it, nor he can be cross-examined. So it is available for usage as we want to use it, and the principle that if duly, the condition or the precondition of if duly proved does not apply on it. Now there is another key reason that why dying declaration is taken as it is as a substantive evidence. In fact, इसके बेस पे तो conviction भी होती है. Because there is a Latin maxim that one who is dying will not go to his maker with a lie on his lips, right? That we have studied in our college itself. Hence we give a lot of importance to dying declaration, and as I said, इसकी इतनी वेटेज होती है, इतना बड़ा सब्सटेंटिव एविडेंस होता है कि इसके बेस पे कन्विक्शन भी हो सकती है. So with that we come to end of section 162 of CRPC or 181 of BNSS. हमने सेक्शन के अलावा 3-4 सिनेरियोस भी देख लिए जो प्रैक्टिकल तौर पे होते हैं. If need arise, if there are comments and the people want we will to make more videos, we will make more videos on it. Okay, it is a little contentious topic. Okay, and it is a very, very important topic of criminal trial. Now to conclude, as I said, the section 162 of CRPC is a very powerful tool for the defense. So when it comes very powerful for the defense, it means even the prosecution has to be doubly sure that they do not do any foul play. Otherwise, the accused who should have been convicted will scot-free. Okay. So we have also seen that the proviso of section 162 of subsection 1 allows a statement to be used only for the contradictions. Corroboration कर ही नहीं सकते, ना डिफेंस करना नहीं चाहेगा और प्रोसिक्यूशन को करने नहीं देंगे, राइट? तो दोनों क्या कर सकते हैं? कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन कर सकते हैं. और डिफेंस नॉर्मल कोर्स में कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन कर सकता है, और जो प्रोसिक्यूशन है वो तब कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन कर सकती है व्हेन दे गेट द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू क्रॉस एग्जामिन देयर ओन विटनेस. और वो कब होता है? जब विटनेस टर्न्स होस्टाइल और अनफेवरेबल. और ये सारा का सारा लीगल फ्रेमवर्क कहाँ दिया हुआ है? ये सारा दिया हुआ है इन द मैनर एज प्रोवाइडेड इन सेक्शन 145 ऑफ द इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट, जो अब भारतीय साक्ष्य अधिनियम का सेक्शन 148 है. We have also discussed how sometimes omissions can amount to contradiction, और ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट पहलू है इस कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस का, राइट? क्योंकि आपको उसमें देखना है कि जो चीज़ ओमिट हुई है पहले, या जिस चीज़ को हमने इम्प्रूव किया है, ठीक है, क्या वो मटेरियल फैक्ट तो नहीं है? अगर वो मटेरियल फैक्ट है तो दे विल अमाउंट टू कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन, जिसका सीधा बेनिफिट जाएगा डिफेंस को. Okay, so with this I come to the end of this video. I don't know whether I have been able to share all the knowledge with you. Okay, so best of luck for your criminal trials. Thank you for watching my video, and we'll try to make another video which will be on the hostile witnesses. And if you want more legal content coming. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.